Hey Run Junkies, we are about 7 weeks out already from the Bolderboulder 10K, and it has been a wild couple of weeks. We did have spring break last week. My son was gone and he was off having fun, and I had a long list of things to do. See this list? There's one thing checked off. So I am a little frustrated that I didn't get as much done around the house that I would have liked. Now I can be a little OCD about a training plan, just a little. If it's on the plan, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done. So for example, if a run calls for, 4 or 5 miles, whatever you feel like doing, I do 5 miles. If the plan calls for a cross training day, or you can take the day off if you want, I'm going to cross train. If you've been watching my recent weekend training updates, you know that I get a 1-month block of training from my coach, Christine Hinton. At the end of every week, I will then send her all of my Garmin data so she can kind of look at it and evaluate how my training is going. She also uses that information to plan my next block of training. Now lately, I've been feeling pretty good. Nothing really out of the ordinary. I don't feel tired, and I feel like my training is going very well. But when you look at my data from the last 10 days or so, it started to look a little weird. Last week, Christine saw a couple of red flags in my training data. Long story short, she was afraid that I was walking down the path toward overtraining. Now, this could be any number of things. Maybe I'm not getting enough sleep, maybe I'm not eating well enough, or maybe I really am overtraining. It could also just be an anomaly in the data. No matter what, this week I got benched. Coach Christine looked at my 9-mile long run from last Saturday, said it was too hard, my heart rate was too high. So not only did I take my planned day off on Sunday, but she also benched me on Monday. Now this is what I pay her for. She looks at that data and says, you know what? Let's just play it safe and take that extra day off. She also had me take stock in what my resting heart rate was doing, because if that's elevated, that's also an indicator that I might be overtraining. But really, after all of that, looking at my data now, I seem to be on track, and it probably was just an anomaly, but taking that extra measure and that extra rest day was probably really good for me this past week. And the lesson I learned in all of that is how valuable a coach is. I probably would have looked at all of that data. Well, actually, I don't know that I would have looked at that data at all. I would have just logged it and moved on. But if I did decide to look at that data, I probably would have said, oh, well, my heart rate's a little high here. Nah, you know what? I'll just make sure that I don't work so hard next week. I may have paid closer attention to how my workouts were feeling and what the data was looking like, but I know I would not have made myself take an extra day off. Coach Christine told me to do it. She is far more educated about this than I am. I'm gonna follow orders. But because I've added quite a bit of strength training back into my plan, my metabolism is on fire. I am constantly hungry. I cannot shove enough food down my gullet. I am so hungry all the time. But I have to be careful about this because I really am trying to eat right and not just eat a lot to fuel my body. I want to fuel smart and not just anything that I can get my hands on. Now, my nutritionist Ellie Kempton is actually very excited about this because that means that my metabolism is on fire. Something I'm doing is working. I also got an alert from the Saucony Stride Lab app to reevaluate. Now, if you missed that video, click on this card right here. But over the last few weeks, I've been performing 5 exercises almost every day that I run, and these exercises have strengthened my hips and given me more mobility in my calves and my IT band. By the way, 3 minutes seems like an eternity when you're foam rolling your calves. But this week, the app alerted me to reevaluate and see if any of those exercises have been effective for my running form. I have improved in all areas, and now I'm focusing on glute activation, foot stability, and mobility. As a result of this, I have found that I'm leaning forward into my stride a little bit better, and I do feel stronger and more efficient. Now, all of this is just polishing the diamond. Throughout my running journey, I have learned a lot along the way, and I feel like I have a great foundation, but there is always room for improvement. So all of these little tweaks and adjustments here and there are going to help me in the long run to become a better, more efficient runner. I have reached the point in my journey where those small adjustments are reaping greater rewards. So my question for you today is this: have you made any small adjustments or tweaks to your training, and have they reaped any benefit? Please let me know in the comments section down down below. I'm actually recording this video before my long run over the weekend, so next week I will give you a report of how my first double-digit mile run went. The first double-digit mile run I've done since the Dopey Challenge. Next week, we are in another recovery week. We're getting real with the Bolderboulder 10K, and I'm signing up for the virtual shorts. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any more great content from Running with Grace. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there, go find your awesome. We'll see you next time, and until then, happy running.